Well, today we do have a few isolated showers around the state of Mississippi, mostly in the Delta, but nothing close to Jackson or around the metro. So just partly sunny skies, hot and humid out there. It's 94, but it feels more like it's 97 degrees with a south wind at about 8 miles per hour. For this evening, partly cloudy, warm, muggy, only dropping into the mid 70s by tomorrow morning. Now by late Wednesday, rain chances will dramatically improve, and that's going to have a major impact on these temperatures. You'll see the 8-day forecast. It's coming up in about 10 minutes. WJTV 12 at 4 starts now.
And first at 4, the late Senator Thad Cochran will be laid to rest today. We reflect on the funeral service that honored his life.
Plus, a debate is brewing in South Mississippi. We'll tell you about an upcoming event where the GOP candidates will face off and where you can catch it.
And things are getting heated on Capitol Hill as congressmen challenge President Donald Trump's proposed tariffs. We'll give you a rundown of everything that's happening. Well, as we mentioned at the top of our show, funeral services were held today for Senator Thad Cochran. Thank you for joining us. I'm Terrence Friday.
And I'm Margaret Ann Carter. Some of Senator Cochran's closest friends and family were there for the service today. This includes longtime colleagues who traveled from afar to pay their respects to his life. The current Senate chaplain, Barry Black, delivered today's homily, and other congressmen, Patrick Leahy and Richard Shelby, shared some of their fondest memories.
Thad Cochran's devotion and commitment to Mississippi was unwavering. He always found a way to ensure that his people, the people of Mississippi, were taken care of. One prime example being Hurricane Katrina.
This service was more personal about the man, Thad Cochran, both of his children who also read during the service.
And outside of the church, several people talked with us about how the service was. They described it as a fitting send-off for a man who's been able to touch many lives.
I want him to be remembered as a wonderful man who cared so much for Mississippi, that has helped us in so many ways, and the spirit that he has that would continue, and the words that he would use that would continue with the rest of us for a long time.
Now, we also caught up with some of Senator Cochran's former colleagues. They tell us that today's service was hard, but their memories of him will live on forever and will also forever be sweet.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. Thad's passing was the end of an era, but the chaplain for the Senate, I think, said it. He did so many things for so many people that it carries on. That everything that he did for someone will carry on to someone else.
When we would visit, it was kind of funny. He would sit there quietly at the conference table, and he'd say, "What do y'all need?" And of course, we'd get all excited and say what we need, and he'd just smile, and he said, "We'll see what we can do about that." That meant it was going to get done. It was a very, very simple way he dealt with you. Special man.
And these men that we just heard from tell us that they've both worked with Senator Cochran for decades. Obviously, they had wonderful things to say about him.
And the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus offers their prayers and condolences to those closest to the late senator. They released a statement saying Senator Cochran's legacy of service to our state, our country, and to mankind has been tremendous. And we, the members of the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus, will miss our friend whose helpfulness crossed all barriers. They also say they stand ready to assist with family in any way that they can. And for those of you who missed today's episode of The Young and the Restless due to Senator Cochran's funeral, you can view that episode on CBS.com.
A Jackson man is sentenced to 25 years in prison for a double shooting that happened in Ridgeland. Sam Kenta Johnson is accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend and another man in the parking lot of a business on Highland Colony Parkway in 2017. Both victims survived the shooting, and once Johnson is released, he is required to be under supervised probation for at least 5 years. Jackson Police and the U.S. Marshals Service arrest an 18-year-old murder suspect. Eric Adams is accused of the shooting death of a 34-year-old. That victim is Henry Williams. It happened last month on Sanford Street. Police believe that the two got into a fight, which led up to that shooting.
Jackson police are also investigating after a man is shot inside of a car. It happened just before 12:30 a.m. on Medgar Evers Boulevard near Holmes Avenue. Police say the victim is now in stable condition, and they're still working to find that suspect. The federal government's effort to force Mississippi to change its mental health care system went to trial today. The Justice Department sued the state in 2016, claiming Mississippi breaks the Americans with Disabilities Act by forcing too many people into state hospitals. Mississippi is also accused of not providing enough services in the community, and the state says its system is legal. The trial is expected to last 6 weeks or longer. Election season is among us, and primaries are only a few months away, and the big races across the state are already heating up.
Yeah, coming up just Friday, several Republican candidates in statewide races are going head to head. The Mississippi Federation of College Republicans and Lincoln County Republican Women will host a debate that's going to be happening at the Southwest Mississippi Community College campus. Bill Waller and Robert Foster have agreed to take part in the governor's debate. Senator Michael Watson, who is running for Secretary of State, will also be there, and Attorney General candidates Andy Taggart and Mark Baker have agreed to be there as well. Our very own Byron Brown will be one of the moderators for that event, and it will be streamed live on WJTV.com. That is Friday at 7 o'clock. And remember to make WJTV 12 your election headquarters. We've got you covered. We're tracking all of the big races across the state this year. The primary elections are set for August 6th. President Trump may be overseas this week, but back in Washington, Congress is now challenging him.
Capitol Hill is at odds on several fronts, from his proposed tariffs against Mexico to a growing number and drumbeat for impeachment proceedings. Nicole Killian has the very latest.
I think it's more likely that the tariffs go on.
In the UK, President Trump doubled down on his threat to impose new tariffs against Mexico.
Mexico shouldn't allow millions of people to try and enter our country, and they could stop it very quickly.
On Capitol Hill, the White House dispatched aides to quell nervous Republicans concerned about the impact on U.S. consumers and trade.
We're not fans of tariffs. We're still hoping that this can be avoided.
Some GOP lawmakers have been discussing ways to block the tariffs from taking effect. The president called it foolish.
I want to be supportive of the president, but my honest opinion is that the short-term gain is not worth the long-term pain.
While Republicans battle the president over trade, Democrats are grappling with their own investigations of the administration and whether to move forward with impeachment.
I think that the tide is turning with the public.
As more Democrats call for an impeachment inquiry, the White House directed 2 former aides not to cooperate with a subpoena request from the House Judiciary Committee.
We need to serve as a check and balance on an out-of-control and increasingly lawless administration.
The House is moving forward with hearings on the Mueller report and contempt votes against the Attorney General and former White House counsel Don McGahn next week. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Mexican officials are on Capitol Hill meeting with lawmakers on the president's proposed tariffs. There, the Mexican delegation will meet up with Trump administration officials, including Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, on Wednesday. Let's turn things now over to Chief Meteorologist Ken Zalski.
All right, a very humid, hot day today. Temperatures in the mid-90s, heat index near 100, but there are a few isolated showers around right now, and that's a signal, a sign of things to come. Now, down the line later this week, we will see better chances of rain. But for tonight, we're just going to keep it partly cloudy and warm. Your temperature at 9 o'clock at about 81 degrees. We'll talk about those rain chances going up and what to expect for the weekend coming up next. You're watching WJTV 12.